Hey Panthers, I'm Rahil from the KJLS Quarantine Broadcast, bringing you Week 9 from the KJLS Broadcast. We only got 1 week of school left, so let's give it all you got. First up, we got Rianne talking about a UV light disinfection.
Hello Panthers, I'm Rianne from KJLS Panthercast. A new technique, or not so new technique, for cleaning surfaces is being tested to clean surfaces of the novel coronavirus, which is shining UV light onto surfaces. On the electromagnetic spectrum, UV is found between visible light and X-rays. If you're wondering what ultraviolet or UV light is, it is found naturally in the sun's rays and can damage our skin and eyes, which is the reason why we use sunblock and sunglasses. There are different types of UV light, UVA, UVB, and UVC, with UVA having the longest wavelength and being closest to visible light on the electromagnetic spectrum, and UVC having the shortest wavelength and being closest to X-ray on the electromagnetic spectrum. UVC is also what is being tested to kill the novel coronavirus. Within the wavelength of range of UVC, there is far UVC, which is tested to kill the flu virus and is tested to be harmless to humans. UV light was also proven to kill other coronaviruses like SARS and MERS. Using UV to disinfect was tested starting earlier this week in New York City subway cars, during the hours the subways were not running. New York used mainly UVC, but some UVA and UVB as well. If all goes well, they will use UV on the Long Island Railroad and Metro North Railroad trains as phase 2. Before I go, I will remind you that this will not cure people of the virus. It only disinfects surfaces. Also, standing in the sun without sunblock is harmful, and the sun's rays contain no UVC. This has been Rianne from KJLS Panthercast. Now back to you, Rahil.
Thank you, Rianne. I hope with this information we can get some quality takeaways. Next, we have Emma talking about some Science Olympiad games. Take it away, Emma.
Hey JLS, it's Emma from KJLS Panthercast. Today I wanted to talk about a club that no one really knows about but desperately needs the attention. That club is the Science Olympiad team here at JLS, or as it's more commonly known, Scioly. First, before you tune me out because it's about science, what is Scioly? Well, it's a tournament-style competition that takes place nationally. Schools compete in 15-person groups in 23 different events that all fall into incredibly different categories that all revolve around science. If you like birds, there's ornithology. If you're interested in forensic science, there's crime busters. If you like fossils, there's fossils. My point is, there are lots of different types of events that you may be interested in. If you asked me about my experience with Science Olympiad, I'd say it was a surprisingly accidental amount of fun. Joining was a very irrational decision, considering the amount of stuff I already had to do on the side, but I definitely don't regret being a part of the club. Even if you don't really enjoy or know much about an event, the people you work with can make that experience a lot better. I worked with my friend on food science, which made studying different types of enzymes and documenting types of fertilized foods a lot more entertaining than it should have been. Another example is ping pong parachute, where although we didn't do too well tournament-wise, it was just fun to mess around with the people working with me. To end off, I want to show an interview I did with the head coach of the Scioly team here at JLS at our second, and as it turns out, the last tournament of the year. How have the students prepared for this tournament?
I think the students are much more prepared than our last tournament. They spent a lot of time at the science club, which is a Monday, and thanks to the sponsorship of the JLS teacher, Ms. Robin Young, and also a lot of weekend hours, again thanks to the JLS supporter for use of the gym and the breezeway for our building team to try out. So it's a lot of hard work put in.
As someone who actively enjoyed her time on the team, and as someone who knows that the club needs as much help as it can get, I hope this sheds some light onto the Scioly team here at JLS. Even someone who is as unknowledgeable as I am when it comes to science might have a pretty good time. So if you have some free time when everything returns to normal, it would be greatly appreciated if you gave the Science Olympiad team here at JLS a shot. Thanks for sticking with us, Panthers. This has been Emma from KJLS, and I hope you all have a great summer.
Thanks, Emma. Sounds really fun. Next, we have Jonathan talking about the final interviews for JLS students. I can't wait to see this one.
Thanks. This year has been filled with many ups and downs, and as this is the last broadcast of the year, I decided to go ask JLS students to reflect on the past and look to the future.
Some things that I liked about this year is that I got to meet new friends and I got to move from different classes, which sometimes I don't like because sometimes it means I'm late to things I usually wouldn't be, but it's also kind of interesting to go around the school and see things.
What are you looking forward to most for next year?
For next year? Well, I don't really know. I feel like even though I kind of like the quarantine and self-isolation, I want to be back because I do my work more efficiently when I'm at school. And yeah.
I guess the favorite thing that happened this past school year, for school, I really just loved the back to school day, the first day of school, like seeing all your friends again. And I really liked being in Team Cupcake this year for 7th graders. I liked all my teachers. And it was really fun doing all the team activities because in 6th grade you didn't really do many things with your team. It was just all 6th grade. So it was really fun just hanging out with your whole team because it's like most of 7th grade in your team. And for the second question, next year, I'm really looking forward to hopefully being a Panther Camp counselor if we get to go back to school. And also being in graduation just because it'll be so fun having that dance party and with the theme and doing graduation, even if it's online, which will be sad, but still it'll be fun. And hopefully some of us will get to go back to school next year, even if it's half of us. I'd really like to see the teachers and just be able to learn in a natural environment again.
My favorite thing about this school year was the DC trip, and I'm looking forward most to sports next year in high school.
My favorite part of the 2019-2020 school year was participating in the CMEA Jazz Band Festival early this year. What I'm looking forward to most next year is participating in new sports in high school.
This year certainly has been eventful, and I thank all the people interviewed for their time. Despite all the negativity of this year, take time to reflect on the good that's happened this year and look forward to the future. This has been Jonathan Ying from KJLS. So long, Panthers, and back to the anchor.
Thank you, Jonathan. I really love how we are able to find new information for students. Bonding this time is really crucial, especially in times of self-isolation. Lastly, we have Golly with yet another interview with teachers. Let's hear what she has to say.
Hey Panthers, I'm Golly from KJLS Panthercast, and as you all know, the school year is coming to an end, and I wanted to see how teachers handled teaching from home and this whole shelter in place. Let's go find out.
Yeah, okay. So, how has being quarantined changed your life? Obviously, it's changed for everyone, but being a teacher, do you miss your students? Do you like this better, or?
Well, everything has changed, as you said. I definitely miss the students the most. I think seeing you guys and the students is one of the best parts of my job. But I think the biggest change is my house. My house has 2 or 3 or 4 screens open at each time so I can respond to students who are trying to engage with the content. So biggest change is my house, and then not seeing your guys' faces.
Okay. What's something you dislike most about having to teach from home?
The interaction with the students, in many reasons, but because of the content, the math content, sometimes it's harder to communicate over messaging, so writing out messages. So that's been a little bit frustrating, I think, both for students and myself. But the cool part about the technology is I've done a lot of Zoom sessions where myself and the student will pop on, or I'll do audio recording to walk students through the steps.
Got it. What's something you like the most about being able to stay at home and just teach from your computer?
From the teaching aspect, I like the technology. As you know, I like technology and using sort of that instant feedback to give you guys some details about how you're doing. So I think the technology is the best part. And then the second best part that doesn't pertain to my job is staying home with my dog every day and going on walks.
What do you mean by technology?
So I've been doing a lot more of sort of looking a little bit deeper in how to construct activities so you guys can get feedback. As a math department, we've been using Desmos a lot and sort of playing around with the code so that when you enter responses, you guys get an immediate feedback. All of that stuff sort of built by the teachers with the support of companies like Desmos. But that's fun for me. I usually don't have as much time to do that. Now that it's a priority, I've had to prioritize it.
Have you changed the way you started teaching from like the first week we started learning from home? Has anything changed on your part?
Yes, sorry, I cut you off there. Yes, I mean, it's all a learning process. I think as students, you guys have sort of changed your structure and how you've approached things and how you've juggled everything, and teachers have done the same thing. From the beginning, we tried to give you content quickly, so it wasn't as personalized, I don't think. It was just more about getting you the content and keeping you engaged. And as the weeks have gone by, I think we've done a better job at sort of catering to your guys' specific needs a little bit better and relating it a little bit more to how our curriculum was originally structured.
Yeah, has teaching from home caused you to work more or less hours? Because I know a lot of teachers are working way more than they did before.
More. I just finished talking to a friend about that, actually. We were talking about the different schools. So I think from a teaching perspective, I think we're doing a lot more work than people can see, but I think that's typical in a lot of cases. But I think the reason there's more work for us to do is because the students are doing a really good job at engaging in the work. You guys are asking questions, you're sending us messages, you're wanting to jump on live sessions. And because we're doing the asynchronous learning, some of that learning is happening at your own speed and pace. So as a teacher, instead of presenting curriculum in 1 hour at a specific hour, we're sort of staggering that curriculum and that content throughout the week based on when the students are needing it.
What's something that you're worried about for future years and right now?
Right now, I'm trying not to worry too much. I'm trying to live in the moment. This is a super hard time for everyone. There's a lot of crazy things happening. The biggest thing I think is just the gap in learning. I hope that doesn't become a bigger effect in the long term. I think right now we're okay. I think right now we can recover between now and the fall. But I'm worried about the fall. I don't know what the fall is going to look like. Right? Will we be in session a lot in person so that we could try to start closing the gap? Will it be online instruction? So I think that's my biggest worry, is just uncertainty for the future.
What's something you miss most about teaching from school, like at school?
I said it a little earlier, but I think the interaction with the students. I do miss interacting with my colleagues, but we have done a lot of virtual stuff to sort of fill that need. But it's the students. You guys are awesome. You're fun. You're entertaining. I always tell my friends that I have the best job in the world, so I don't have to work with any adults.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm stuck with all these adults all day. So I think that's the biggest part, is seeing you guys.
And then last question, what's something that you wish your students could know about what you're going through right now?
I miss you guys. I mean, for me, I think I've been pretty lucky. I live sort of in this community in Palo Alto, so I felt like I've been able to sort of reach out from students. I know physically we haven't seen each other, but I've seen people as I go around and walk my dog and such stuff like that. But I think right now, I mean, we definitely miss you guys. We miss seeing you guys. But from my standpoint, I think that I'm in a pretty good spot to support my students. And I'm really thankful that my students are reaching out a lot to connect with the content and to stay active in school.
Okay, that's it. Thank you so much for doing this. I really
awesome.
So this shelter-in-place distance learning experience has been pretty tricky for my family. My husband is also a Palo Alto teacher. He teaches at Gunn High School, and we have 2 young children. Emerson is 5 years old, but is still in preschool this year, and Ellis is 5 months old. So the 2 of us having to hold various Zoom meetings and still do our teaching and instruction and record screencasts and all of those things while also trying to manage two pretty unpredictable children has been a real challenge. The benefit of all of this, though, is that we get to spend so much more time with our kids, and we're just having so many joyous moments as a family. So that part has been really sweet and special. But yes, this is a very unusual time that we will probably not forget in our lifetimes.
Hey everyone, I'm Mr. Lacayo. I'm here to talk to you a little bit about this shelter in place and remote learning. Some of the things that I do enjoy from this whole experience has been able to work with my colleagues a lot more closely. We interact and email or text practically every day and various times of the day to make sure that we're able to create curriculum and material for students to make sure that they're continuing to learn. One of the biggest struggles over the last few months has been dealing with the lack of face-to-face interaction with students. I know that I'm able to help and assist students better when we're in the same classroom. It's quite difficult to do that online. Things that I miss most about being at JLS would be the interactions with the students. Every day, my day revolves around students, so I'd say that I miss the students most during this time. Let's see, something I want students to know is that your teachers are making a great effort to make sure that you feel connected. A lot of us host Zoom meetings, a lot of you attend. Any chance we get to make sure that there's some sense of normalcy, even though I know it's been rough, but I want students to know that teachers are making a very big effort to make sure that happens. One thing that worries me a lot about this situation, I'd say the uncertainty. I'm kind of okay with that, but I just know that there's seem to be daily updates around the situation and what the summer will look like, what will the fall look like, especially for my 8th graders who are moving on to high school. I know that that may also bring a little bit of worry as they move on and leave JLS. But overall, yeah, I gotta say that I miss the students. I miss the actual teaching in class. I feel like there's a deeper sense of learning when we're all in the same space. I know that there is learning going on while we're remotely and doing this from behind a computer screen and everyone is in their own home. But I feel like being in the classroom definitely provides for a deeper sense of connecting with the material. And I know the students miss each other. I really feel for you guys, and I'm sorry that the school year has to end this way. But at any rate, I wish you the best in high school. Go class of 2020.
This has been Golly from KJLS Panthercast. Now back to the anchor.
Thanks, Golly. Though it may not be every single teacher in JLS, it still gives us an interpretation of how challenging it may be. Despite such a short broadcast for the week, we, as the broadcast team, appreciate your time and cooperation for the broadcast shows. From the entire team, literally, make it a great day, or not. The choice is yours.